Welcome to the Mind Vault. If you've ever wondered why you do what you do, this channel is for you. We unlock the psychology behind your patterns, habits, and thoughts.
You know, when you think of the ultimate warrior philosopher, there's really one name that just towers above the rest: Miyamoto Musashi. He wasn't just a legend with a sword, he was obsessed with the very idea of mastery itself.
So, what makes him such a legend? Well, for starters, look at this number, 62. That's how many duels he fought in his lifetime.
And here's the kicker. He was undefeated. And we're not talking about friendly matches. No, these were brutal, to-the-death fights against the most famous masters of his time. He was, quite literally, a force of nature.
So that brings up the big question, right? How did he do it? Was he just that much faster, that much stronger than everyone else? Or was there something else going on? Something deeper?
Well, the answer is right here. It turns out his ultimate weapon wasn't some secret sword technique. It was a mindset, a whole philosophy he wrote down in this book, which honestly is less about fighting and more about a universal strategy for winning at, well, anything.
So here's how we're going to break this down. We're going to walk right through Musashi's own guide, his 5 elemental rings. Each one is a totally different but crucial stage on the path to becoming a master.
And we have to start at the beginning with the Earth Ring. For Musashi, this was everything. Before you can even think about strategy or technique, you need to have solid ground to stand on. This is the foundation.
And what is that foundation made of? One thing: brutal, unflinching self-assessment. You have to be completely honest with yourself. You can't get better if you don't even know where you truly are, warts and all.
And this is so relevant today, it's kind of scary. Take this example of a developer we'll call Gohan. He tells himself he had a productive morning and a busy workday. But the reality? An hour on his phone before even getting out of bed, maybe 2 hours of real focused work, and 90 minutes lost to YouTube. He feels exhausted, but he produced nothing. That gap between the story we tell ourselves and the reality, that's where mastery goes to die. And this is exactly what Musashi was talking about. He said you have to train your mind and your body, the pen and the sword. But that first step, the most important one, is to see where you actually stand. I mean, get this. After his most famous duel, the one that made him a legend, he didn't party. He locked himself in a cave for 2 years to figure out why he almost lost. That is Earth Ring thinking.
So these were his ground rules. Don't lie to yourself. The only path is through training. And, maybe most importantly, do nothing that is useless. Just cut out the waste.
Okay, so once that foundation is solid, you got to learn how to move. And that brings us to the second stage, the water ring. This is all about being flexible, adaptable, and achieving a kind of mental fluidity.
I mean, what a great metaphor, right? Musashi says a master spirit shouldn't be rigid and predictable. It should be like water. It can fit any container, adapt to any opponent, and shift from a calm little trickle to a raging tidal wave in a heartbeat.
And the real goal of all this water ring training is to achieve a state called mushin, which literally means no mind. You've probably felt it before. We call it a flow state. It's when you're so deep into what you're doing that you stop thinking. Your training just takes over. Your mind goes quiet, and you act perfectly, instinctively.
All right, you've got a solid foundation and a fluid mind. Now it is time to act. This is the fire ring. This is about the heat of the moment, about conflict, timing, and using a focused intensity to grab the advantage.
See, Musashi believed you couldn't just sit back and wait. You had to use strategic aggression, what he called fierceness, to create your own opportunities and then, of course, to seize them. But this aggression was anything but random. It was highly calculated. He laid out these specific methods for taking control. You could attack first to dictate the pace, you could wait for your opponent to move and then completely take over, or you could attack at the exact same moment to overwhelm them. Every single move was a deliberate choice. And I have to be really clear on this point. This fierceness he talks about has absolutely nothing to do with being angry or losing your temper. It's the total opposite. It's a controlled, focused, strategic fire. Think about the intensity of a surgeon's focus, not the blind rage of a berserker. It's a weapon you wield with absolute precision. So let's move on to the last 2 rings. Now, these get a little more philosophical, but they are absolutely key. The wind and the void. This is the absolute peak of mastery, where what you've learned becomes who you are. The wind ring is all about knowing your competition. Musashi said you have to study other schools, other ways of thinking, because that's how you spot the weaknesses in your own style.
But the ultimate goal of all this is the void ring, a state that's beyond thinking, beyond technique itself.
Okay, I know what you're thinking. This sounds incredibly abstract. The spirit is nothingness. What in the world does that actually mean? Well, he's pointing to a state of pure potential, a mind that's completely empty of ego, fear, and doubt.
Think of it this way. The void is the final destination. It's that point where you stop struggling, because the practice has become your very nature. You don't try to be disciplined anymore. You just are. And your actions just flow from you, perfectly and naturally, without a single wasted thought. It's the absolute pinnacle of performance.
Literally in the last week of his life, Musashi wrote down 21 final rules to live by. And this one quote really sums up his whole life. This journey through the 5 rings, it's not a course you finish. It is the way, a path you have to walk every single day.
And that, of course, brings it all right back to you and me. Musashi's way was the sword, but his principles, that brutal self-honesty, the adaptability, the strategic action, that relentless chase for mastery, you can apply that to anything. So the real question he leaves for all of us is, what is your way? And are you walking it?
If this opened your eyes, imagine what else is hiding in your mind. Don't forget to subscribe for weekly episodes that decode your brain, one pattern at a time. And if something clicked today, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Until next time, stay curious.